chat. The Psychetruth live chat. Every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on your YouTube machine. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. I'll answer your questions about whatever you want to talk about on the Psychetruth. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. The Psychetruth live chat. Thank you so much. Hello and welcome to my weekly live chat. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Corrina Rachel. I'm a certified holistic health coach, and I have made hundreds of videos on this YouTube channel you are currently on, Psychetruth, ranging from health, nutrition, weight loss, fitness. I also have a second channel that is all ASMR videos, which are videos dedicated to helping relieve stress and insomnia and things that are very stressful like that. So some of you know me from the ASMR channel. Some of you may know me from Psychetruth here. Maybe some of you, I don't know, you were just on your YouTube feed and you were like, oh, hey, this chick is live right now. I'm going to click on it. So this is your chance to ask your health and wellness related questions. And really anything is fair game in what I call the big umbrella of wellness. So there's a lot of things that have to do with helping us feel good, have energy, feel positive. So I'm here to answer your questions related to those topics. Looking good here. Not chopping my own head off quite too much. Alrighty, so thank you to everyone in the chat room. You can go ahead and start leaving your questions now. I'm already seeing some coming through. If you leave some question marks at the beginning of your question, that's going to just help me to see it a little bit better here. And I do just want to remind you guys that this is a super chat. And that means that you can leave a tip with your question. And guys, things on YouTube are getting cray-cray right now. Pardon my slang. But anyhow, yes, we really greatly appreciate your tips. If there are tips coming in, I will extend the live chat even longer. Anyhow, so there's a little $sign that also kind of looks like an S underneath the comment box. If you click that little $sign, you can leave a tip with your question, and then it will actually get bumped up to the top of my feed, and that's the really the only way to get a guaranteed answer, because there's just so many questions. I am peering through them now. Many thanks to Brian for being here, and it looks like your birthday is coming up. That's very exciting. David Gaviria is here. Logan 1. All right, here I see some question marks. All right, Silly Millie. Silly Millie says, would losing 10 kilograms in 2 months be healthy? I'm currently 71 kilograms, which is about 156 pounds, but my goal weight is 135 pounds. Okay, so this is a really good question, Silly Millie. Thank you for asking it. Actually, not a silly question, interestingly enough. You know, when it comes to losing weight, I think it's just important to kind of try to consider your whole lifestyle in the context of your weight loss journey. And what I mean is this. When we want to improve our health, whether it's losing weight, gaining muscle, gaining strength, whatever it is, you kind of have to be able to check in with yourself, able to check in with where you are at in terms of your current health All right, so how active are you? How good do you eat? How are your stress levels? Do you sleep well? These are the types of questions that can kind of just help keep ourselves in check. So if you're someone who isn't really that active, you don't really eat that well, but you're starting to eat well, but you are still eating a lot of fast food, you don't really cook at home for yourself, and let's say you're not sleeping very well, and you're somebody who considers yourself pretty stressed out, pretty high stress levels, I would say and that's kind of the typical person, right? That's probably the standard American diet, so to speak. The standard American, we're not super active, we don't really eat that well, as a general rule of thumb. So if you're coming from that place, all right, and you're trying to lose a significant amount of weight, and I would say that 20 pounds or a little over 20 pounds, that's a significant amount of weight. So if you, to kind of converse that, all right, so to position the difference, would be somebody who's already super healthy, they're really active, they eat really well, they cook at home, and they're just in general good health. They don't have high stress, they sleep well, etc. For someone like that, it's going to be much easier on their body to have a quick change or to have a quick loss of weight or whatever, right? Because they're coming from a healthy place to just improving their health. Whereas if you're back here where the standard American is, the standard person is not really that healthy, not really that active, you have a lot bigger of a jump to lose 20 pounds than somebody who's already really healthy and active. And so I just encourage you to kind of keep yourself in check of those things. And the bigger of a jump that you have from your current lifestyle to your goal, all right, the longer that you need to spend getting there. Or what I should say is, the more you should focus on keeping those 4 things in check than on how long it takes you to lose the weight. So, for instance, let's say you start your weight loss journey, right? You're exercising, you're eating well, you're really kicking it up. Well, suddenly your stress levels are through the roof and you can't fall asleep at night and you don't know what's going on. That would be an indication that you're pushing your body too hard too fast. All right? So I just think it's really, I see this all the time where people, they have a time that they're aiming for. I want to lose this amount of weight in this amount of time. And I just think that's a very dangerous kind of approach to take, because then there's a potential that your health gets thrown under the bus. All right. And as a holistic health coach, guys, I just have to let you know that my priority, my goal is always your health. Keeping your health optimal, right? So it may be that it takes you longer than 2 months to lose 20 pounds, all right, in a healthy way. So just know that you can use things like your stress levels, your ability to sleep, your irritability, okay, how well you engage with people, how easily you get frustrated. Those can be really good little factors to just keep in check. And if those things start going bad, you need to slow down your weight loss effort and work on just your health. So getting sleep, handling stress, getting plenty of relaxation time. Lots of times when people are trying to lose weight quickly, they actually put themselves under so much stress between the dietary changes and the exercise that it actually depletes your health because you're putting your body under too much stress to try and reach that goal. So keep yourself in check, be really honest with yourself. Depending on where you are, that might be a reasonable amount of weight to lose in that amount of time. But each of us has to be our own health coach, so to speak, right? Unless you're working with someone one-on-one who's helping you through your weight loss journey, you have to be the one who's responsible for keeping yourself in check and making sure that you don't sacrifice your health to try and keep that weight loss goal. So Silly Millie, thank you for your question. I spent kind of a long time on that, but guys, I see that question all the time. People are always asking, you know, how can I lose weight quickly? How do I lose this much weight in this amount of time? And it just, Man, I think a lot of people, when you hear about yo-yo dieting, I think that's a lot of times what happens. People are pushing themselves too hard, they max out, they go off the diet, they gain the weight back, and then they're back in the same position again a few months later. So avoid the yo-yo diet, just be consistent and do things that are healthy for you and that keep you feeling good and feeling healthy and happy as you go through your weight loss journey. How do you get your hair like that? I literally, I don't wake up like this, so to speak, but after I wash it and condition it, the only time I brush it is while it has conditioner in it. Then I rinse it out. I put a little bit more conditioner in it as a leave-in, and that's it. What is everyone's favorite food? That could take a while. That'd be fun, though, to hear everybody's favorite food. Aaron Finn, where do you personally do your grocery buying from? Sorry, I kind of messed that up. But anyways, where do you personally buy your groceries? What are suggestions for the best place to shop for healthy foods? All right, so I live in Austin, Texas. I'm very, very fortunate to live in a very health-conscious city. So we have quite a few options here of natural grocery stores. There is one called the Wheatsville Co-op, which is pretty funny. Wheatsville Co-op is pretty cool, based here in Austin. So I would just definitely mention that wherever you live, if there is a co-op of healthy food type of thing where you live, that would be a great thing to join and be a part of. I personally shop at a grocery store called Sprouts, which I'm pretty sure is not just here in Texas. I'm pretty sure I've seen people comment that they have Sprouts in other places as well. But anyways, it's like your natural food grocer, but I like it because it's a lot smaller. So, for instance, the Whole Foods and the Central Market. Sorry, I think I've got a eyelash in my eye. The Whole Foods and Central Market type of grocery stores, not only are they super overpriced, in my opinion, but they're also just so big and overwhelming that I find them kind of stressful to go into. Unless there's something really specific that I need and I just run in and run out. But for my regular day-to-day grocery shopping, I like a much smaller grocery store. I also really like shopping at farmers markets. We have quite a few of those here in Austin, which is great. Basically, this is just a time where all of the farmers in the nearby areas to where you live bring all of their yummy goodies and produce and whatever else to like an outdoor grocery, a farmer's market. If you have something like this where you live, I think that is the optimal place for buying your produce. Number one, it's the freshest. Number two, you can talk to the farmer. So you can either buy organic, or even if it's not organic, you could talk to the farmer at the farmer's market and determine if they use a bunch of different stuff and sprays on it. So there's a lot of farmers out there that are doing natural growing, basically organic farming, but they can't actually pay for the organic certification. But when you talk to them, they may say, oh yeah, I don't use any pesticides or anything like that on my crops. And that would be a good way of knowing that it's also super clean, right? So cleanest, freshest, and when you build relationships with people, I think that also has such a benefit in itself. And monetarily speaking, once you build relationships with these farmers, I have found that farmers markets tend to be even more affordable than buying stuff in the grocery store. So Sprouts, farmers markets, there's another store called Trader Joe's, which is very similar to Sprouts, that is available, I think, more widely. But anyways, those are my personal picks, my personal recommendations. Okay, sorry, I'm hitting the wrong scroll button. I was like, why aren't the comments moving? David Gaviria. David Gaviria, what do you think about using olive oil to fry foods? All right, so Really good question here, because olive oil is one of those things that has gotten a lot of attention for being a very healthy fat, and that is true. However, it is very important to clarify that the only way to get those really good healthy fats, okay, the health benefits from olive oil and other oils for that matter, is to have them uncooked. Once you start exposing an oil to heat, the chemical structure starts changing. And when you change the chemical structure, you change the nutritional profile or the chemical structure of those nutrients as well. So, actually avoiding cooking in oil or avoiding cooking oils or heating oils is a really good thing to aim for. Now, when you do want to cook your food, which is often, right? Ideal scene is to just steam it with water. So in the case of vegetables or whatever, just steam them. And then sometimes what I'll do is after I steam them with water, I'll melt a couple little pads of butter on top or drizzle some olive oil over the top. So then you're still getting the flavor of the butter or oil, but you're not actually exposing the oil to heat. And by not raising it up to that really high temperature, you preserve the health nutrients. Now, when you really need an oil to cook your food in, the best one is coconut oil. And it's because it has a higher, what they call, I think, like a heat point, basically just resistance to heat. So it can be heated to a higher temperature before it starts to chemically change and become harmful. So again, avoiding cooking with oils as much as you can. Add oils after you steam with water. Deep frying really should be avoided, okay? If you are gonna stir fry in coconut oil from time to time, fine. But deep frying things in a lot of oil, now you're really doing something that's harmful and you're completely morphing the oil. So even if you were to use a healthy oil to deep fry, just that process of raising it to such a high heat kind of destroys those health benefits and actually creates harmful chemicals as well. So I don't want to go off, feel really bad, keep going off on tangents. Mean to set a little timer for myself. It'd be a good thing. But anyways, so David, I hope that answers your question. Oh, I see. YouTube just bumped. Let's see. I just got all my questions bumped. So let me look up here. Now, where was I? Okay, Lewis Thompson. Can you overeat nuts and still lose weight? I heard doing that actually does help you lose weight. Nuts. I think that really this is something that kind of varies from person to person, because I know some people who, if they eat too many nuts, they notice that they gain more weight or they don't look as trim as they do when they eat fewer nuts. But then I also know people who like eat as many nuts as they want and appear to be fine. So I think that there's not necessarily a hard and fast answer. Now it is worth kind of looking at the serving size for the various nuts, and all of them are different. So for instance, cashews have a lot more fat than almonds. So for whichever nut you're eating, it is worth it to just be really cognizant of like what a serving size is, all right, and how many calories you're getting from that, etc., just so that you can kind of be aware of how much you're overeating. Now, nuts are awesome. They are super packed with different nutrients, really awesome source of healthy fats and healthy protein, which is one reason that I eat nuts all the time. I love them. But they are really easy to overeat. And again, they are a large source of calories. So, I think it's maybe the answer that I'm looking for is, yes, you can still lose weight even if you technically overeat nuts. So even if you're technically eating more than the serving size, I think it is still possible to lose weight. I really do believe that insulin and sugar, okay, or the refined carbs like white flour and sugar that cause that insulin spike, that's really what's, going to be the main factor in weight loss or whether or not you lose weight. But you do need to be kind of cognizant of how many nuts you're eating, because if you overeat them too excessively, unfortunately that can affect your body's ability to lose weight. Okie dokie. Chugging right along here. YouTube, every time there's a bunch of comments, YouTube just like floods me down, and so I'll be reading, I'll be like in the middle of reading a question, and then all of a sudden I'm just like at the bottom. I am seeing okay. Yeah, so Fatima Salah, my teacher says that heating olive oil makes it poisonous. Is that true? I mean, not poisonous in the sense that, like other things are poison, but it does change the chemical structure. When you heat up an oil, it changes the chemical structure. And when you do that, you lose the health benefits. And depending on how hot you heat the oil, it can form toxic substances. So perhaps that's a little like oversimplification to say that it makes it poisonous, but yes, it's true. You do lose those health benefits. Huoma Nuoke. I probably didn't say that right. How do you start a healthy lifestyle? How do you come out of a rut? I say this in almost every chat, but I think it's just so important to kind of reiterate. Start small. Super itty bitty tiny small steps. We have a tendency to feel really overwhelmed by various tasks, whatever it is. I remember being, a high school student and just feeling this gigantic sense of overwhelm about every project and every paper, and it was just this constant, and then once I graduated, once I got to college, I started realizing like, oh, it's not that overwhelming, right? You just do it. You just have to start somewhere. But that's the same thing that I notice in myself when I have something I want to change, and in other people when they're trying to get healthy. They have this feeling like they have to do everything at once. Like you have to change every single change that you need to make, and you need to do it right now. And you should just fall asleep and wake up tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow morning you're going to eat differently, you're going to exercise, you're going to have a yoga practice, you're going to be able to lift 500 pounds over your head. And you just start to get that, like, we don't always have the most reasonable goals. All right? So in the same way that you wouldn't expect to just wake up tomorrow and be able to bench press 500 pounds overnight, you can't expect to suddenly change your entire lifestyle overnight either. So break your goals down into smaller and smaller goals until they get to a point that you can visualize yourself doing that thing. Like, okay, I can see myself spending 2 minutes a day walking around the block. Or I can see myself eating 1 serving of vegetables per week. I can see myself eating 1 salad per week. Just start, so take your goal. So your goal is to eat healthier. Well, eating healthier, not only is that not a very direct goal, right? It's kind of big and ambiguous, but it's also not concrete. So what helps you reach your goals is that they're really small and reasonable, and that they're really concrete. So you don't give yourself something like, I'm going to exercise more, because it's not concrete. You need to give yourself something like, I'm going to exercise for 10 minutes a day. But then again, you've got to pick the goal that feels reasonable for you. And if 10 minutes a day seems like too much, or let's say you start it and you get your 10 minutes a day and you do that for 3 or 4 days, and then you can't do it anymore. You can't motivate yourself to do it. Knock your goal down. Shrink your goal. All right, let's see if I can do 3 minutes a day of exercise. Maybe it's just doing jumping jacks. Maybe it's just stretching your arms up over your head. Maybe it's walking around your block. Eating healthy, same thing. I'm going to eat healthier. That's not a concrete goal. You need to give yourself specific, realistic goals. Like, I'm going to start eating a salad a week. And then work yourself up. 2 salads a week, 3 salads a week, until you're eating a salad every day. But just get that I'm going to eat a salad every day is a really difficult goal if you never eat salad. So you've got to break it down, make it reasonable, and just start somewhere. There are so many, probably hundreds of different things you can do to start a healthy lifestyle. But you just have to pick one of them. Maybe it's spending more time outdoors. Maybe it's getting more sleep. Maybe it is relaxing. For those of you out there listening to this chat and you live your life at 100 miles a minute, you're always stressed out, you always feel overwhelmed, you always feel like you don't have enough time at the end of the day, that is when you know you need to slow down and relax. Because when you start getting into that frenzy and that anxiety and that panic, that's when we start losing our health, okay? And we start losing our focus. And, before long, you can burn yourself out really, really easily and end up with long-term health problems as a result. So you just got to slow down. You just got to start somewhere. Recognize that managing your stress and getting plenty of sleep is so important. And if you are not doing those 2 things right now, go do those first. Start with your stress, start with your sleep, and then work from there to get healthier. Let's see. Joni Brammer. We just moved to a new state. While my husband is away at work, I'm home alone with 2 little kids in the country, no AC, no car, no motivation, very depressed, want to eat healthier, but it's difficult. Mainly I need help with motivation, with location depression. I'm not sure quite what you mean by that. I want to keep my kids motivated too. I feel so alone here. Do y'all have a garden yet? I mean, if you're living out in the country, that is such a wonderful place to start growing a garden. Growing a garden not only is an awesome way to get healthier, because you're growing your own foods and you can grow healthy, really healthy foods and eat fresh vegetables all the time. It's also super fun. Okay, I don't know how old your kids are, but most kids love to play in the dirt. I haven't met very many kids that don't like to play in the dirt. But gardening is such a wonderful thing, such a fun, family-oriented thing to do. So that would be my first recommendation. And I know that it can feel like a lot at first. it's a lot of preparation. It's a lot of time that goes into it. But when you start having foods that start growing in your garden, it's such an amazing feeling. And that would be really amazing for your kids too, to be able to see that. Other ideas. Man, you're in a tough position, finding fun, artistic things to do, creative things to do. One of the kind of often forgotten things about health, and this kind of dovetails from the last answer I was giving, is that a lot of times, we sit there and we say, oh, I want to be healthier. I want to be healthier. And we don't have a clear idea of what that means. Well, a huge component of being healthy is being happy and having expressive, creative, fun things that you do in your life that not only bring you joy when you do them, but that are also kind of zen-like activities in themselves. They help you relax. They help calm your central nervous system because you're making something or creating something. So I would just encourage, your kids and you to maybe get together and brainstorm and think of, what could be some fun things to do. If you go on to like Pinterest or something like that, there are so many different little craft things you can do. I mean, there's just things that I look up now and see, and I'm like, man, I never would have thought of that. But it looks like so much fun to make. But just get really creative. Maybe you make really like beautiful lanterns to put around the house, or maybe you maybe you start baking stuff. Maybe you start cooking things that are fun and healthy. But any kind of activity that gets y'all together, gets you laughing, gets you smiling with one another, that is a health benefiting activity just in itself. Because it brings you together, it brings you joy, and it helps to reduce your stress because you're doing something fun and creative. And then if y'all can also be making something that, is pleasant to have around the house, or maybe making a craft or something that you donate to other people, like sewing quilts, sewing blankets. I'm just trying to throw out as many ideas as I can here because I just really think that if y'all sit down and look around for some different stuff to do, you will find some things, and hopefully will bring you guys a lot of happiness. Spending time in nature is also really good for your health. So maybe just going on, little hikes together, or looking up the indigenous plants in the area where you live, and then going out on a hike and see if you can find them. I don't know. Stuff that would be fun. So many questions. At this point, we're just about into the first 40 minutes, the first 30-40 minutes or so. Thank you all for your questions. I do want to just remind you guys that this is a super chat, and that means that you can leave a tip with your question. If you are in the chat room and you are getting annoyed that your question has not been answered yet, it's probably because there's so many comments in here. It's like physically impossible for me to even read them all. But if you leave a tip with your question, YouTube will actually bump it up to the top, and you can be sure to get your answer in before I finish up here. Oh, look, there's one right now. It worked. Yay. So I keep meaning to come bring a bell. I don't have a bell, so I'm gonna have to play the Jimi Hendrix chord. All right, so here we go. John Shattuck. John, thank you so much for your tip. Thank you so much for your question. John says, I am a 6'4", 130-pound vegetarian. Oh, wow, so you're pretty thin, pretty lean build, okay? I already eat cheese, avocados, nuts, seeds, and peanut butter. What other foods can help me gain weight, please? Alrighty. Vegetarians. All right, so cheese, avocados, nuts, seed, peanut butter. I would imagine you eat like lentils and beans and other legumes, what are also known as pulses, I believe. Things like quinoa, lentils, you know, the legume family, your beans, peas, etc., are really fantastic because they do give you some of those carbohydrates that can help you gain weight. So from the perspective of putting on muscle, putting on more weight, there's a couple of things to consider. Eating more carbohydrates in general, all right, is gonna tend to help people gain weight. So I would really encourage, you know, to look at things like white rice, brown rice, quinoa. Again, all of your legumes, those are going to be really great sources of, usually they have healthy proteins, healthy fats, depending on what you're eating, okay, depending on which which legume you're eating, they all offer different stuff. So again, keeping a variety of those different things in your diet. And just as a general rule of thumb, as a vegetarian, you need to consider how you can keep your diet varied and how you can kind of maximize the amount of different nutrients and the variety of different nutrients that your body needs. So a lot of times when people are eating a more restricted diet, like a vegetarian or vegan diet, you'll notice they are kind of eating the same foods all the time, which, if they're healthy foods, isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? It's definitely good to be eating healthy foods all the time, but it is possible for things to start getting lost, or nutritional deficiencies that form. One common one for vegetarians is B vitamins. So you may consider either taking a B vitamin supplement. Also, there's something called nutritional yeast, which is kind of tangy in flavor. You can sprinkle it on virtually anything you eat, adds a really cool kind of flavor. Any kind of vegan cheese type things that people eat will often contain nutritional yeast. So even though you're not vegan, it might be worth considering something to add in, because B vitamins largely we get from animal products that we eat, from eating meat products. So considering B vitamins, lots of legumes, quinoa, brown rice, etc. What else do I want to say? There's a whole lot of different kind of like nutritional whole food supplements out there, like Green Vibrance, and I don't know, that's the only one that comes to mind off the top of my head. But that just contain a whole lot of different nutrients in them. That might be something to consider because you are pretty underweight for your height. There might be something going on even outside of your diet. So for instance, if you have like hormonal things going on, your hormones can't quite balance, that will influence your weight. So, you know, there's not a lot of easy ways to check on something like that, but just kind of be aware that being underweight can kind of stem from a lot of different things. Yeah, so hopefully you can address that just by broadening your diet, adding things into your diet. You really want to think about anytime you're on a somewhat limited or restricted diet, that you don't just eat more of the foods you were already eating before you became vegetarian, but that you add in a lot of new foods to replace the ones you've removed from your diet. So hopefully that can help you. I think it's definitely worth just again, taking that holistic perspective, recognize that your health, your body's ability to be really balanced, kind of stems on a lot of different things, or depends on a lot of different things, rather. So you really need to be watching your sleep, watching your stress, watching your exercise. If you are exercising too much, that can be another thing that can throw off your hormones and either prevent people from losing weight or preventing people who are too underweight from being able to put on weight as a result. Anyhow, John, thank you so much for your question. I really hope that that was a helpful answer. I see questions all the time that, people want to know how to put on weight in a healthy way. So that's something I've actually been working on. I want to make that video. Oh, excuse me. Okay, all right. Now I'm seeing questions that I already got to. So, anonymous user, what would you recommend someone who's fit and healthy that could take as a supplement to boost the immune system? Let's see, immune system boosters. Really great, not necessarily an immune system booster, but helps your immune system, is something called colloidal silver. So if you've ever heard that saying, eating off of a silver spoon, the reason that the rich were eating off of silver is that they were able to observe that when you ate off of silver, you didn't get sick as often. And it's because silver actually contains natural antibacterial properties. So you can, eating off of silver is probably not super realistic in this day and age, but they make a product called colloidal silver, which you can either take internally. I believe you can also spray it on externally, but the stuff that I have is a little spritzer that you just spritz 3 spritzes in your mouth each day. But anyhow, colloidal silver is great. Anyone who takes a lot of antibiotics, next time you have something going on, try using colloidal silver instead. It's a great natural antibiotic. So back to things that are immune boosting. Turmeric, ginger, garlic, vitamin C, of course. Another fantastic thing that I take whenever I'm sick is oregano oil. You can take it in a little capsule. There is also something called oreganol, which is like a liquid that you put under your tongue, and it's really hot. It's super duper hot. But oregano oil in one form or another, that's another great immune booster. One thing a lot of people don't realize is that a large percentage of your immune system function actually takes place inside of your digestive tract. So anything that you do to improve the health of your digestive tract is also going to improve your immune system, interestingly enough. So probiotics are basically something that feed the good bacteria in your digestive tract. We have all these microbes that live really all throughout our body and on our body that protect us. What are known as the good bacteria, right? So probiotics feed those good bacteria and help your gut to function normally. So that would be like a double whammy benefit, all right? Because you're gonna have improved digestion. And that should help you just in general, feeling better, feeling like you can digest your food better and like you're not bloating and stuff like that. But probiotics will also help your immune system as well. Thank you so much. So many sweet comments today. I'm like looking nice and stuff. Thank you. Oh no, what did I do? Alrighty. Will I look like Jean-Claude Van Damme if I do yoga? If you do enough. regarding rainbows, am I allowed to have a cheat day? And if so, what treats could I have that are good but still healthy? Is an acai bowl a good treat? Acai bowl. You know, I mean, I guess it really just kind of depends on what you put in it. You know, cheat days. Cheat days are a kind of difficult thing. I myself, I don't like thinking in like cheat days. You know, obviously it's going to be healthier for you if you don't take a cheat day. It's going to be healthier every time that you avoid a soda or a donut or French fries. Okay, every time that you avoid those things, that's a good thing. So when people are like, am I allowed to have a cheat day? You know, this is one of those things where it's, you know, it's just not an easy one-size-fits-all answer. Ideal scene is that you don't cheat. You just eat healthy all the time. But I recognize that's not 100% realistic. So the whole idea of cheat days, you know, kind of comes around as a solution to the fact that it is hard to eat healthy all the time. It is, and I am right there with you. You know, I have to make eating decisions every single day, just like everyone else, and I know that it's not always easy. So my answer would just be, you need to do whatever it is you need to do to stay on the path. One thing that's been helpful to me is to remember that being healthy, having a healthy body, is not about what we do some of the time. Okay? It's about what we do most of the time. So, you know, if most of the time you're eating healthy and some of the time you cheat, you have something that isn't as healthy, right? Then you're still going to be able to have a healthy lifestyle, right? It's about what you do most of the time, not just some of the time. So you just need to figure out what works for you. You know, the biggest, or maybe not the biggest, but certainly one of the biggest challenges when it comes to living healthy or losing weight or whatever it is that our health journey is bringing us to, is just keeping it realistic for our lifestyle and staying motivated. Finding the path that is workable for us, that is realistic for us, because every single person is going to be different. At the end of the day, when, you know, our body is falling asleep, our body is going in to heal and repair and get us ready for the next day, right? The good things that we have done for ourselves, like eating salads, eating vegetables, getting exercise, all of those good things help us out. They do. And if you have, you know, a piece of cake and a donut going on in your stomach as well, then you're still getting the health benefits of all the good things you do. The main thing I want to discourage is that falling off the wagon feeling. You know, a lot of times we have this feeling like, oh, I was doing so well, I was eating so well, and then I fell off the wagon and I can't get back on. That is what you want to avoid. So whatever it is, if it's calling it a cheat day, fine. I consider it just being realistic with myself. So I don't have like a official cheat day. I just kind of know that in the grand scheme of things, I try to be healthy as much as I can. And when I am tempted by a cookie or whatever it is, I don't let it get me down. I don't let it destroy my entire feeling that I'm doing something good for myself and that I'm living healthy. I just recognize that, like, oh wow, I probably shouldn't have done that, but I'm gonna forgive myself because there's nothing I can do about it now, and just move forward and try to keep your eye on the future. So rather than focusing on like, oh, that bad thing I did, or oh, I can't believe I ate this, you just have to let it go and move forward. It's about what you do most of the time, not some of the time. So, you know, if taking a cheat day is what helps you manage being healthy all the rest of the time, then so be it. You know, that's fine. What treats can I have that are good but still healthy? Green smoothies. That's probably like my go-to. Like, I want to treat myself, but I want to do it in a responsible way. We have a place here called the Daily Juice. There's another juice bar called Juice Land, which I also love. But if you go and you get a smoothie and it has healthy stuff in it, healthy superfoods and whatever, like, yeah, acai, sure. You know, anything that still has healthy ingredients inside of it, though you're still going to get those health benefits when you eat it. There are definitely some things out there that unfortunately are not healthy, even though they present themselves to be, pretend to be. But yeah, you know, the acai bowls, for the most part, you know, you just need to look at what's in them. Some of them are healthy. Some of them, I would say, are just, you know, a terrible, unhealthy dessert with acai in it. But, you know, whatever you need to do, you know, to keep yourself from feeling like you can't eat healthy anymore. You know, you don't want to fall off the wagon. Whatever you can do to stay on the wagon. And if cheat days are what get you there, then fine. All the Jean-Claude Van Damme questions. I'm gonna have to look into this Jen Hillman thing. I'm pretty sure that she just has videos that are still going up on that other channel that she's making videos on now. Yeah, Jen left Psychetruth to go make videos for another channel called actually, I don't know what I'm going to say the channel name. But anyways, Jen left Psychetruth to go make videos on another channel. That is what happened to Jen Hillman. I really hope she's okay. I don't think anything bad happened to her. But I don't know. So I really hope nothing bad has happened to her. You guys get together, you're worse than a sewing circle. Anybody know the movie? Alright, looking for questions. Here we go. God dang it. I keep accidentally zooming the screen in. So I'm like holding down on the keypad for a little too long. How do you get flexible from just daily life basics? Move your body. Move your body around. You know, it's so funny because people say like, oh, I'm not flexible. I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible. Like, that's why people do yoga, is so that you can get flexible. Anyways, but flexibility in daily life, I mean, just simple stuff. Move your arms around, you know, think about your different extremities, think about your joints, and then just think about moving that thing around in all of the different ways that it goes. You know, our arms are the most mobile, right? Have the most amount of mobility when it comes to things like your knees or your hip. A little less mobility, right? But just moving around, stretching. We have so many stretching videos. You know, yeah, I guess you do have to stretch to improve your flexibility. Yeah, a little quiet fox. I'm a little bit confused by your question. Becoming flexible from a daily life basis, just stretching. You know, every day, as much as you can, whenever you have a free minute, just, you know, stretch your body, stretch your arms out, stretch your legs out in front of you. When you go to like forward fold over your legs, to bend over your legs and stretch out your hamstrings, think about bending with your chest. So you don't cave your back in order to bring your nose towards your legs. Think about keeping your chest lifted and stretching your chest downward toward your legs. And you'll get this really great stretch in your hamstrings. Fox Mulder says there was another donation. So YouTube, thank you. YouTube did not put it up here. Here we go. Exercise, fitness, workout, weights, stretch, cardio. How would you stock a half refrigerator? Bicycle? I think that's a joke. I don't know. I am really sorry. Exercise, fitness, workout, weight, stretch, cardio. I am not sure. Would you stock a half refrigerator bicycle? I don't know. Anyways, well, thank you for your tip. I really appreciate it. I'm really sorry. I don't know if that's a real question. Exercise, fitness, workout, weight, stretch, cardio stumped me. Yeah, I feel a little stumped. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that. I saw you commenting that you bought your own mini fridge so that you don't have to look at the food choices of your roommates. That's probably a really, really, really good idea. Oh, okay, all right, exercise, fitness, workouts, weight, stretch, cardio. How would you stock a personal size half-high refrigerator if you drove a bicycle with unlimited trips to the grocery? I don't know if that's a serious question. I would buy produce on one trip, and I would buy some other stuff on another trip. I really appreciate your tip. I'm really sorry I don't understand your question. So either leave it again, let me know exactly what you're asking. I'm a little bit confused. Oh yeah, immune system question. Uh, Matcha green tea. Matcha is like undried green tea leaves. Matcha is fantastic antioxidant source, great for the immune system. Okay, if you had only a personal size refrigerator, unlimited trips to the grocery on your bicycle, what would you buy? I mean, I would just fill that little baby up with vegetables. One thing I try to think about when I'm at the grocery store is buying vegetables that I need to eat like ASAP. And then also trying to buy things that are a little bit more hardy, you know, that will last longer. So for instance, things like carrots and broccoli can sit in your fridge for, you know, a couple of days. Whereas if you were to get some, you know, like spinach, or like a box of salad, although I don't know if you can even fit that in your fridge. But, you know, if you're getting like lettuce and spinach and stuff like that, that stuff's going to go sooner, you know? So I'm always trying to think like, okay, here's some things that I can eat like today/tomorrow. And here's some things that I can have, you know, that will last a little bit longer. However, if your grocery store is really close and you're going all the time to the grocery store, maybe you don't even need to think like that. And you're just kind of, you know, grocery shopping meal to meal. And then I think it's always good to have some things in the fridge that, you know, for those kind of in-between meal times or right at, you know, a couple hours before bedtime, and you start getting hungry and you just need something to go and eat to, you know, get you through either to your next meal or to help you be able to fall asleep so that your belly's not empty. So depending on what you eat, full-fat yogurt can be a really good thing to satisfy your hunger, you know, like a late-night snack kind of a thing. You just want to watch the sugar content. So I'll typically buy like plain yogurt and then add something in when I eat it. So maybe drizzle a little honey or maple syrup, or maybe just add some blueberries or something like that. If you eat cheese, cheese can be a good snack. If you eat if you eat meat, you know, something like turkey, you know, sliced turkey or whatever, it can be such a quick, easy snack. Things like celery and cucumbers are fantastic. And they last pretty well too in their fridge. So I don't know if that gives you good ideas or not. You know, and then so many healthy foods that, you know, don't need to be refrigerated. So your brown rice, quinoa. I have just like big jars of different beans and, you know, the legume family available that can be made up really easily. Eggs would probably be a really good thing to have. Really easy thing to do to like hard boil, you know, a dozen eggs and then have those in your fridge to eat here and there. A couple for breakfast, a couple for a snack, one before bedtime, or whatever. So I'm sorry I had not gotten to your question yet. For whatever reason, YouTube did not bump it up to the top for me. Those jerks. No, it's okay. They're not too bad, but little glitchy. Little glitchy. How many times should people eat to lose weight? So I think this question is related to that whole like 3 meals a day versus 6 meals a day thing. I actually did an entire video kind of comparing those two philosophies of eating. You know, ultimately, I'm going to sound like a broken record here. I'm going to say what I've already said a couple times. It's going to vary from person to person. You have to find what works for you. So from a weight loss perspective, or how well can your body burn fat, one of the most important things to think with is insulin. Insulin is like the Uber that transports the sugar in your bloodstream, the sugar that you eat, to your cells so that it can be used. So every time we get an increase in our blood sugar levels, our blood glucose, that can come from sugar, or it can come from refined carbohydrates like white bread, potato chips, tortilla chips. Okay? Those refined carbs and sugars boost your insulin levels. Then your pancreas releases insulin, and insulin acts like the little Uber that drives that sugar around in order so that the other cells of your body can use it for energy. At which point your cells will no longer accept any more sugar. That sugar is turned into fat. This is why insulin is known as the fat storage hormone. This is why I would recommend that fewer insulin spikes is what you should aim for. Because the more that you have insulin in your bloodstream, the more that your body is in fat storage mode. All right, and your body's not going to be burning fat. Another way to think about that, when you hear about the ketogenic diet, the whole idea is that you are avoiding raising those insulin levels. And that's why a ketogenic diet is so effective. So there's a couple ways to do this. If you are talking about number of times you eat per day, I would recommend that you just eat 3 times per day and no snacks in between. But that can be really unrealistic for some people, right? That can be super unrealistic. 3 meals a day and no snacks. Are you kidding me? So for those people, right, that you can't go that many hours in between your meals, right, or it's just not realistic, or you just get too hungry, we saw that recommendation to eat 6 smaller meals. However, if those 6 smaller meals boost your insulin levels, then they don't help you lose weight. So maybe rather than putting your focus on number of times that you eat per day, put your focus on, is this meal or snack going to spike up my insulin levels or not? Because if you were to eat very, what's called low glycemic just means it causes a small blood glucose rise, causes a very low blood sugar increase, very low insulin increase. Then you could theoretically eat as many times a day as you wanted. And as long as you were eating meals and snacks that are mainly fats and mainly proteins, and if you are getting carbs, they're like naturally present sources of carbs, like vegetables and stuff like that, then you're not spiking your insulin. So, you know, again, rather than thinking in terms of numbers, thinking in terms of what you eat rather than when you eat. And if you can, you know, do a little bit of looking into, okay, so what are these low glycemic foods? What does that mean to be able to eat something without an insulin response? If you put in blood sugar in the search bar of this channel, we have a lot of videos. There's one, I can't even remember which one it is. But if you put in blood sugar, you'll find all my videos. There's several that go through and kind of show you the glycemic index and just give you really general guidelines for what to eat. So basically, healthy fats and healthy protein are going to be ideal. Recognize that the high glycemic foods, the ones that give you a big insulin response, that's all your processed foods, your white bread, white flour, chips like potato chips and tortilla chips, basically anything that's processed is going to tend to have a higher glycemic index than things that are more natural, things that are minimally processed. Beans regulate blood sugar. You know, so your legumes are going to be a great thing, you know, a great thing to have in your diet. And, you know, in terms of number of times you eat or how long you go between eating, the longer duration you can go between meals, the more time that your body has to let your insulin levels drop, to let your blood sugar drop. Because it will rise somewhat depending on what you eat, right? It's just significantly less if you can avoid actually eating sugar and flour and stuff like that. You know, day to day, I also find that it's different for me. Some days I find that I just eat 2 big meals and that's it. Other days I find myself snacking or whatever. So I just think you should really be open with yourself, you know, to finding what feels good for you, what's realistic for you, and know that it might not necessarily be the same way that someone else eats or that so-and-so has recommended, because each of us is different. We have very different energetic demands, different stress levels, and then different just tastes in food, etc. Alrighty, you guys, so I'm going to do the proverbial last call here. I am getting the signal to go ahead and wrap up the chat room. I do want to give you guys one more chance to leave a tip, one more chance to leave a question for this chat room. Caitlin Faribault, does the sugar in fruit also spike your blood sugar? So depending on the fruit, I mean, yes, to the extent that yes, fruit contains sugar. Yes, it will spike your blood glucose or blood sugar level to some extent. Largely, it depends on the fruit itself. So you can look up glycemic index fruits in your search engine and you will literally see a list of all of them. So I think that cherries are like the lowest sugar content fruit, if I'm correct, could be wrong. But anyways, you can actually look up a list. Also know that, you know, there's something that's called the glycemic load, which is basically the combined glycemic index of all the different foods you're eating at a meal. And there's a lot of people out there who say, oh, glycemic index is worthless to look at because you rarely ever eat foods just alone by themselves. So when you do eat sugar, one thing that you can do to reduce the glycemic load or reduce the glucose spike or the blood sugar spike is to eat sugar in conjunction with fats, protein, and or fiber. So for instance, you're going to eat some fruit, throw some nuts in there with it. You're going to make a smoothie, throw some peanut butter or nuts in there with it. Chia seeds and flax seeds are really good sources of healthy fat, all right, and even healthy protein depending on the seeds that you're using. So adding in some seeds, adding in nuts, eating your sweets with sources of fiber, fats, and protein are going to help that sugar to have less of an insulin spike. Raymond Ramirez, thank you so much. Left me a tip but didn't leave a question. If you have a question, Raymond, please leave it. I love doing that. That's just really fun, actually. So yeah, Raymond, if you have a question, let me know. I owe you an answer here. Thank you so much for your tip. I really do appreciate it. You know, another thing I want to say about fruits real quick. is that, you have to recognize that, yes, fruits do contain some sugar. However, they also contain a vast amount of nutrients. We can talk about antioxidants, vitamins. We could talk about just so many different minerals and micronutrients that give fruit so much nutritional bang for the buck, so to speak. So I see a lot of people out there that are like, oh, I'm avoiding fruit because I'm trying to lose weight. And I just can't tell you enough that you should eat fruit. Now, obviously, you could eat so much fruit that it prevents you from losing weight, okay? But you shouldn't stay away from fruit, okay? Because it gives you so many nutritional benefits that the little bit of sugar that it gives you is worth it. It's okay. Also, what makes fruit different than a processed food or a dessert, okay, what we typically think of as sugar, is that the amount of sugar in a piece of fruit is significantly less. That sugar comes in a form that is easily broken down by your body and in an amount that doesn't overwhelm your body. So fruits are good for you. Fruits should not be avoided. Yes, it's true that fruits do contain sugar, but it's a chemically different sugar than what you see on the ingredient label of a Twinkie. Okay, two completely different chemical structures. When we talk about something like high fructose corn syrup versus eating a piece of corn, or even eating some strawberries or bananas or something like that. Alrighty, you guys, I want to thank you so much for being here. I want to thank all of my tippers today. Really, really appreciate you guys. I would not be here if it was not for you. I really, really cannot tell you how greatly appreciative I am that you guys would come here today, spend this time with me. I truly hope that all of this information has been helpful. And I do hope that you'll come back and, join me again next week. Same bat time, same bat place here on Psychetruth YouTube channel. Thank you all again. I'm going to send you off with a little Psychetruth theme song. It was time for live chat. The Psychetruth live chat. Every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on your YouTube machine. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. Live chat. Live chat. Live chat. The Psychetruth live chat. Komal Preet, couldn't help but see your question. I'm vegan from last year. Or I've been a vegan for a year. I've been suffering from hair loss. I lost half of my hairs. Please help. It would sound like a vegan diet is not a good diet for you. If you radically change your diet and you lose all of your hair, that's a good sign that that's not a healthy diet for you. If you put in vegans and hair loss, you will find a lot of information on the topic. You are not the only one to have that side effect. Something is missing in your diet. A lot of the collagen that our hair, skin, and nails are made out of comes from the meat that we eat. So that can be an issue with veganism. I'm sure if you do some research, you can find some vegans who have had this problem and been able to resolve it and can give you those answers. My gut feeling, though, is that that's not a healthy diet for you. Losing half of your hair in 1 year is your body's way of telling you that it's not happy with what you are doing with your diet and lifestyle. So I hope that helps. I hope you'll come back next week if you'd like more answers. Thank you all for being here. And I will see y'all next week. I hope that everybody had a fabulous, fabulous July 4th. I don't know why I didn't think to wish y'all a happy 4th until just now. I just get distracted answering questions. Anyhow, thank you so, so much. I will see y'all next week. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you again soon.